Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading an Arlecchino Listener by me. So let's get into it. Arlecchino found many things to be a little bit tiring in her relationship, which is why she wanted to cut the road short and pursue a relationship of a different kind. To be quite honest, she was not actually interested in one at first. But alas, she was advised to be in one, to deal with her temperament and issues. She was told that maybe having a partner would solve many of these issues, and she was just quite hesitant on that matter, but eventually conceded, deciding to try it out. After all, what was she going to lose? Absolutely nothing, except a little bit of time, and in that manner, she did lose a lot of time trying to manage her own emotions sometimes. She did seem emotionless on the outside, but that took a lot of time to maintain, and it was not something she was willing to stop. There had to be a certain air of control around her, especially for her to be the father, a responsible one, to her children. So the situation demands that she be calmer, despite the numerous events that happened that seek otherwise from her. And so, she had pursued this whole sugar mommy, or rather daddy in her case, thing. She was really unsure about it. However, it was Pantalone's suggestion. So, even though she has her own doubts, maybe it's not so terrible. Usually, he cares a lot about whether something will work or not. For someone whose main interest is Mora, so she could at least count on him for that. Not that she was particularly a fan, but when she could use him, she would. So right now, as she was meeting with her sugar baby, she was wondering how that person would be. She had never seen them, and it was him, Pantalone, who had actually filtered out through the request to pick her the most suitable one. And right now, as she sat down in a restaurant, and you came to sit down before her, she had only wondered, what brought me here? But she couldn't say those words out loud. Instead, she smiled politely and extended a hand for you to shake. Greetings. I assume you're... Yes, that's me. I'm Mayan. He must have told you my name, right? He did. I assure you. Now sit down, please. We have many terms to discuss. You felt a little bit anxious. You were not really sure what to expect. You knew it was a Fatui, but from the looks of it, this had to be a high-ranked official. And you weren't sure what to do right now. She made you nervous. She was quite a lot. And her aura itself was something that was rather unsettling. Oh well, it was too late to back out now. So you decided to start off by talking, deciding to tell her a little bit about yourself. And surprisingly, she seemed a little bit interested to listen. And so, what about you? I know you're Fatui. The person that I was actually contacting told me that much, but he didn't tell me what you do at all. I don't know a single thing about you besides your name. Interesting. And you still came here? Knowing I'm a Fatui, and a mysterious one at that. Almost like you have no self-preservation at all. It's not that. I just really needed the money. And also, it was getting kind of boring without our relationship. So this would be interesting. I understand. Now as to who I am, you may know me as the Knave. You know, the fourth Fatui Harbinger. You looked at her, your eyes blown wide in surprise. The what? A harbinger? Really? And oh Lord, I had no idea what I was getting into. I mean, you just said you're a harbinger, so why are you choosing to date me? Or anyone for that matter? I mean, you must have a lot of people to choose from. So why is this your first option? I wanted something quick and easy. I don't want to put a lot of time into getting to know someone. So perhaps a relationship like this, that was purely transactional, would offer me what I need. I see then. That's an interesting view. I suppose it fulfills what we both want and need. So, I think I have no objections. That's perfect. Alright then, you will just need to sign a few papers. As a Fontanian myself, I must care about making things as lawful as possible, and I will see to it that you have your rights completely within this relationship. I wouldn't want to take advantage of you. Sometimes when I'm left unattended, I tend to have poor self-control. So think of it as a way to keep myself in line. Now go ahead. You may read it over and sign it whenever you please. But once you do, know that your last chance to back out is gone. That's it. If you want to leave right now, you still have a choice. I'll just read it over then. Give me a couple of minutes. And so as you read the terms and everything, it seemed pretty fair. And so you signed it, giving her a smile. I'll be delighted to be your partner, Arlecchino. And I suppose I'll be delighted to be yours as well, Wyon. It will be an interesting thing. I can't say I've been in a relationship before, so there's a lot that I have yet to learn. I hope you will give me some grace in that aspect. Of course, it's not like I have that much experience myself. I'm still seeing things and trying to experiment. So I suppose what I mean to say is, there is no reason to be harsh on yourself. Just take your time, and I'm sure that you will learn what you want to. I'll even try to help. I can see that you would. You're an interesting person. I suppose we have a lot of differences, but that makes it all the more enjoyable to me. And so as she said that, she got up, shaking your hand, and leaving a little envelope on the table. That will be my first payment of the week, so take it and spend it as you please. Our next meeting will be a more formal one, so I want you to be ready. I suppose you know what I mean by that, she said, smiling, caressing your cheek before leaving you completely stunned. And once you looked in the envelope after she left, it was quite a hefty sum. So it was needless to say, this was about to be the most interesting experience you have in your entire life. Perhaps after your first meeting, Arlecchino was not really sure how she expected things to go. At first, she had her own expectations set, and that was for disappointment, purely that. She actually did not think that Rick Rader's little experiment would work. But then again, he knew how to invest his time in proper things. And it wasn't like he would mess with her. She wasn't the type to be messed with anyway. Regardless of all of that, she still felt a little bit surprised that everything worked so well in her favor. And that brought her to the now. She had mailed an outfit to your address and told you to meet her at Hotel Bouffeté. And as she awaited you right now, she was a little bit more interested than last time. And when you came to sit down, she smiled at you, shaking your hand. Thank you, Arlecchino. For the outfit, I mean. It was sent to me in the mail. Now, the sender was not at rest, but I knew it was you. I just had a feeling. Arlecchino smiled at that. She wanted an observant partner, too. She didn't have to spell everything out. So, if this was a form of a test for her, you really wouldn't know. But given the pleasant expression on her face, maybe it was. And then, she looked at you for a couple of moments, before just sighing softly, deciding to bite. You know, I've been wondering, a beautiful young person as you are, why are you exactly doing this? I mean, I can't see a benefit that would be not dangerous. Or perhaps money's all you're looking for? I would have thought you would be hesitant since last time, but you only seem a little bit more motivated. It's a little strange, so don't mind me asking. Well, since you already asked, I guess I have to answer then. Besides the reason that I told you, I'm actually in debt. That's why. Oh, I see how it is. So this is your way to get rid of it? I suppose so. But I am really interested in knowing you. You seem like a fun person. Although I'm sure a couple other people would disagree. But I know that it's a little bit different. For us, I mean. To be honest, I come from Snezhnaya, so my sentiments towards the Fatui are not really that bad. I have my own thoughts about them and their actions. But I guess what I mean to say is, you're not really as scary as you should be to me. She chuckled, shaking her head. And I'm from Fontaine. So I wouldn't say I would work in your best interests. Fontaine would always be my home, and that is where my loyalties will always lie. So you're not loyal to that Tsaritsa? No, I'm not. I am loyal to what works in my convenience, and so far, her views align with mine. So I suppose we can still keep working together. It's not really a waste of my time. You found her response a little bit intriguing and unusual. But so, it meant that a lot of things that you thought about her were not exactly correct. And that was a little bit more fun. And towards the end of your date, Arlecchino offered to take you home. And soon, she had arrived by your apartment, an arm around your waist, as she finally stood in front of your apartment. So, this is where you live? Yes. Is something wrong with it? No, not at all. I just wanted to see the place for myself. I suppose this will be our goodbye. Right, my dear? You chuckled, blushing. She was still trying her best to be affectionate. She was not really affectionate by nature, and she really didn't know how to do all of this. But somehow she was such a charismatic partner already. She squeezed your hand and cupped your face with her other hand, looking into your eyes. If you don't mind, may I accompany you? You mean come upstairs? Really? You would want that? The place is such a mess. I'm not really sure if you'd want to see it. It's fine. I'm sure I've seen worse, she said. And although you doubt that, you find that you have no other option, and you were certainly not going to reject Arlecchino right now. So instead, you nodded and smiled at her. I guess then we may. And so, you just invited her up there. And as she went inside, she looked around the house for a couple moments before shaking her head. What a mess that is. I told you it would be a mess. Don't chide me for it. She chuckles, shaking her head. I'm only teasing. It's not really that bad. I've seen worse. Besides, I actually have an orphanage, so I have dealt with a lot of children myself. Are you saying I'm a child? If you choose to read it that way, then sure. But that's not what I meant. What I mean is, I've seen a lot of messes in my life. This kind of mess is easily dealt with. Don't you worry about it, she says. And you just find yourself softening. Although she seemed scary on the outside, she was rather easy to get along with, and you're happy to be with her. And so, as she had made you tea, she decided to sit next to you on the couch. Today's been quite a day. I have actually thought about a lot of things. About our relationship, I mean. To be quite honest with you, I wasn't sure how long this would all last. In fact, I thought I would get bored in a meeting or two. I wasn't even that enthused about all of this. And now? You are? I'm assuming. Yes, I am. Thanks to you. Perhaps I'm willing to see this through to the end. You are an interesting partner, although quite a mess. It's adorable. You blush, shaking your head. Please don't call me that. I'm not adorable. That word doesn't quite fit with me. She looks amused but doesn't say anything to that. Instead, puts her hand on your hair and starts stroking it gently. And you find yourself melting into her touch, wrapping your arms around her and nestling into her side. Perhaps Arlecchino was not that enthused at first, but she was certainly having fun with you right now. For once, Arlecchino had a problem she couldn't solve. Perhaps she had done something wrong by actually following through with this idea, because she couldn't keep her distance from you. And now, it's gotten too far, and now she's attached. At first, she told herself it was just because of their relationship and the nature of it. She needed someone to give her that satisfaction of a relationship without putting in much work herself, without needing to make the effort, and without needing someone to trust her particularly. After all, a relationship was much harder in nature, and things like that were not simple. So, she doesn't really blame anyone for not actually wanting to be with her in a relationship of any sort. She was not someone easy to be with, and not someone people actually sought after. Most of the time, people would be relieved to not have her around. But she knew that wasn't the case with you. Or at least she hoped. It was the first time she's hoped in a long time. She doesn't usually hope. Hope was foolish and idiotic and something she preferred not to do, just to not be let down. And right now, she was going against everything she told herself to. For you. It told her just how far she's fallen for you, and how much she can't actually take the idea of you not being with her. It would be difficult. Especially now, with your arrangement ending in just 1 week. Just 1 week, and you wouldn't actually have to see her anymore. You wouldn't have any obligation. And then she would truly see if you ever cared about her, if you ever wanted her presence. It was difficult to admit that the truth may be unfavorable to her. And in reality, you may not even want her around. It was painful. It was something she didn't even want to consider, but could be very real. And with each passing second, she wanted to actually acquaint herself with that possibility. So, when the day finally came, and it was your last meeting, she looked at you with all the yearning in the world in her eyes. And yet, they were mysterious as ever. It was a terrible thing to not be able to tell exactly what was going on, and yet feel this much love that was in your heart. And so I decided to take a leap of faith and ask her what you truly wanted. Arlie, please, can I ask you something? I'm not sure if you're going to like this, but I at least have to try. Tell me. I mean, it doesn't really matter what you say. Today will be the last time we'll be seeing each other anyway, is it not? Well, it's about that. I don't want today to be our last time. It doesn't have to be Arlecchino. I want to see you again. I want to be with you. In a real way. In a meaningful way. like a couple. If you would let me, then I would be the happiest person in the world, you said, and she looked at you for a while. Suspicious. And how could you blame her? For she's never been loved before. Not like this. Never like this. She's never experienced someone being so sincere to her. So obviously, this is a thing that she's still trying to understand. Why you have so much love for her in the first place. Why you're being so gentle. Why you care so much about her own feelings. At first, she really wanted to think that you were doing this for your own selfish gains, for the money that she was paying. But it seems she was not the only one who lost sight of her own little rules that she had set. She truly loved you. She fell for you. But she was lucky, because right now it appeared she was not the only one to fall. Really now, you mean every word you say? I do. I love you. I don't care what you give me. I don't care if you give me nothing at all. Just give me your presence. That's all I ask. Give me yourself, Arlecchino. Give me you. It's better than anything else you could say or do. That's all I ever need. She smiled, staring at you for a couple of moments, before wrapping her arms around you and leaning in to kiss you. It was a moment that was undisturbed by anything else. A moment where the two of you felt like you were truly whole. It was nice to be reminded that she too could experience love. That love was not something that would be forbidden. That love was for her too. It was difficult for her to know love and to experience it. But perhaps, in this little relationship of yours, that was meant to be completely something to just put her mind off of things. She had truly found someone wonderful, and someone who truly wanted her in every way. It was still truly strange, for she had never really experienced this before. She never knew what it's supposed to feel like. It felt strange for her to be loved in this manner. It wasn't something she would be used to, and not now, and not ever. So for now, she would just try to enjoy it, and try to do her best. She felt like you deserved the world, if she were to be honest. And she wanted to give you that and more. I love you too, Ayan. I truly love you. I never thought I would catch myself saying these words, and I guess I am. You're special to me, in a way that nobody else was ever able to be. So I guess you could count this as your little achievement, one of many more to come. After all, we have a lot ahead of us, don't we? She said with a smirk, and you blushed, smiling. You sure had a lot ahead of you, and you were more than excited for every single day and every moment that you would get to spend with Arlecchino, especially now that everything was real and true between you two.